programs. Would you also like to get federal funding to help put 5,000 more cops on the street in Chicago? Would that help drive down crime?
Well, look, policing by itself is not the full strategy.
No, I understand. You've talked about the other things you want, and I said those are good and important programs, but I'm asking also, would 5,000 more police officers on the street in Chicago be helpful to go along with all of those social programs that a lot of cities are engaging in and having success with?
Well, look, here's the best way I could put it, Joe, is that in the 90s when I was in high school, we had 3,000 more police officers, and we had 900 people being murdered every single year in Chicago. It's just not policing alone. Of course, we want more detectives.
I know it's not policing alone, but I know it's not policing alone. You've told me everything else you want. I'm curious, and this does come down to an ideological difference between people. Do you believe that the streets of Chicago would be safer if there were more uniformed police officers on the streets of Chicago?
I believe the city of Chicago and cities across America would be safer if we actually had, affordable housing. Look,
okay, that's not the question I asked. My question is, and I just need an answer or no.
Let it burn. Let it burn. This is the thing where I don't care what blue states, red states, whatever, right? Blue cities, red cities. I don't care what you do. Okay, it's usually the people that live in these cities. They voted for it. They supported it. So here's my thing: where as long as places like Chicago, they're not funded by the government, I don't care. I don't care. This is the thing. Sometimes I think, things like you hear California or like a lot of these blue states, they want to do their own thing. Cool, right? I honestly think that let them. I mean, the people in these states voted for what they voted for. So, I don't really care how woke a city is. I don't care what a city does. Just let them do it. I just don't believe in, if you are going to use government funds, right? Funds that other states, other cities have contributed to, that is a problem, okay? Fund that for other people's whack ideology is stupid, because I hear Chicago is failing. It's really in pain. But guess what? So what? The people of Chicago voted for it, right? Because they voted for this mayor, they voted for the policies, they voted for all the stuff. Well, now you're receiving the outcome. And I don't believe that the government should be bailing them out. Unless you are taking out the leadership of said cities, of said states, you should not be bailing them out, right? Unless you want to remove the whole leadership and step in and take over, then okay, right? Fine. But let's say if we support a city like Chicago, and then the mayor is still there and still does his stupid takes, does his stupid leadership, what's that solve? It doesn't solve nothing. It actually just repeats the problem. So I'm in for this where, we should let more states be more free, or let states do their own thing, right? Let states do their own thing. I only think certain things should be government funded, and most of the things should be state funded. I think maybe my only thing that should be government funded is healthcare or education. Other than that, I want to talk about the thing that's happening in Chicago, okay? Because I don't know, I saw 2 videos about it already, talking about one, not enough manpower, right, in the police force, and, whatever problems that Chicago is facing. I don't particularly care. And here's my thing where, I don't know if people will see this as evil or not, right? I think most people who don't live in these cities, in these states, should not care. I think, I mean, I'm not saying that we shouldn't care about each other, but here's the thing where, here's the caveat, or the point of view I have, is that in a lot of these cities, particularly, we are so divided, right? Blue, red states, blue or red cities, whatever, all this shit. Where, okay, we are all adults. We have elected who we have elected. So let's say a blue city like Chicago. Okay, now you have your leadership. It is their prerogative. It is their job, okay, to make your city run properly. So however that turns out, well, as adults, we must suffer the consequences. So let's say if you live in California, I mean, if you live in any state or city, if it prosper, you get 100%. You get 100%. 100% props, right? That you accomplish this, whatever. Okay, you accomplish greatness. If you fail, you also get 100%, props or blame, because it's your failure. And I think we need to let shit play out. I hate it when we need to step in to fix things or change things, because it's not fully playing out. Just like how a parent would teach a child sometimes. Okay, we tell them not to, jump on, jump off a tree or something. Okay, we tell them so many times, they don't listen. Okay, fine, go ahead, do it. You let them jump off, and if they succeed, right, if nothing happens to them, great. Now, if something does happen to them, you would say that, well, you gotta learn accountability. Now, I'm not saying something crazy, okay? I mean, like, something that you definitely know that will be a danger to them. like drugs and shit like that. But at the end of the day, we need to teach people accountability. I really think we've lost the art of teaching people accountability because so many people think it's fine to do whatever they want, say whatever they want, and someone will bail them out. Someone will bail them out. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm whatever you probably say. But I've been such a big proponent on accountability. At the end of the day, only we are responsible, or responsible for our actions and words. Only us can control what we say and do. So at the end of the day, we can't step into another city wanting to change them when honestly they did it themselves. They elected officials they elected. They had the views they have. Because a lot of these cities, you have people something like they hate on Republicans or hate on the alt-right or the right, or they hate on. It's like, okay, fine, I get it. If you don't like these people, well then, cool, go for it. Solve your own problem. I think federal funding shouldn't be going to these cities or states, right? Because honestly, we all have our own autonomy. Our states are very individualistic, right? I always believe federal funding should go to strictly, citizen health, right, of any kind of like welfare or whatever, and or education. That is, off the top of my head, I think that's it. Federal funding shouldn't be to, I don't know, pay for their teachers, pay for their, police force, pay for their whatever else, construction. I don't know. I think every city, every state should handle their own shit, just like individually, right? Every person should be handling their own shit. Shouldn't be asking for handouts. Shouldn't be wanting someone to bail them out. So I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I just think that we have so many people who talk the talk but can't walk the walk.
Mr. President, do not come to Chicago. You are neither wanted here nor needed here.
I find that interesting. So that's J.B. Pritzker, that's the governor of Illinois. Now watch this black woman from Chicago get interviewed by CNN.
My first reaction was that this is a good thing. I think that the governor as well as the mayor should be on board with it just so we can get a bit more of security in Chicago the way that we need.
The crime has dropped since 2024. Do you feel like the city feels safer?
No, not at all. No, especially with the police being defunded.
By the way, for context, Chicago has a shortage of in between like 1,500 to 2,000 police officers. So Chicago does need additional manpower for law enforcement. Again, they're currently having a shortage. But I mean, it makes you wonder, why wouldn't they support Trump helping clean up Chicago? Why wouldn't they support having more boots on the ground to reduce crime even further? And I think it comes down to likely two things. And I think both of them are at play. One, for example, people like the mayor, Brandon Johnson, believe that they really don't need much more police on the ground. J.B. Pritzker, I think, just wants to be seen as standing up to Trump and fighting Trump. And no matter what Trump does, it's bad. So we're going to oppose Trump because that's what a good Democrat does. They oppose Trump. And Mayor Johnson does the same thing. But I think there's slightly different belief systems. Maybe Pritzker also believes what the mayor believes. But either way, when you think about it, still, there is a shortage of manpower for law enforcement. Trump is talking about putting people in Chicago to help bolster those numbers. And the people who govern the people of Chicago are saying no. And there will be more deaths in Chicago if there is less federal help there. So quite literally, there'll be more Black Americans dying due to Democratic policies. That's just an uncomfortable truth for many people. It's just interesting to see many of the people who are around the violence or who are disproportionately being affected by the violence wanting help. And then what's interesting is to see their leaders saying, no, don't come help. One thing I've noticed about this, about DC, about Trump working to stop the violence is a ton of the people that are complaining and calling it a fascist takeover and saying he's a dictator and saying he should not do this are not the people who are actually being affected by out of control violent crime or just violent crime, period. Any of these people are saying it from the safety of their communities where there's less crime. It's just interesting. Also, just a reminder, I have a free email newsletter where I go into more detail on many of these topics. The link is in my profile. Just go to my profile, click the link. You'll see this screen right here. Drop your email in, hit subscribe, and you'll be good to go. That's all I got for now. We'll see
Give us a home. How about that? How about just giving people that need a home inside? Then we'd be inside. You just want to just throw us to the rack.
This is my personal opinion. I think there's very few people in this world that ends up homeless out of their control. Right? I mean, there's nothing they could have done and they'll still be end up homeless. I think there's very few people, particularly if you're not a child. So this is because I find this really ridiculous that I believe most homeless people, they end up that way because of your own actions, whether it's drugs, bad managing of money, just whatever. I mean, you could name a magnitude of reasons. Running away from home, I don't know. I just, I honestly just, again, this is not, I'm not looking at statistics or anything, but I believe in accountability. We have so many people in this world, particularly in the West, a very modernized world, first world country. Everyone wants things to be given to them. No work needed. Because you can get free housing, as long as you're at least bare minimum, a stable adult, has something going for it. I don't know the program, but I know people can get free housing. But you can't be homeless, have no job, no prospect of nothing, and expect free housing, because there's something wrong. Why you couldn't be a productive adult? I honestly believe a little bit of survival of the fittest. There is a reason why you end up how you end up, and I believe probably one of the reasons is the selfishness. Just give it to me. Just give it to me. I don't need to do nothing. Just give it to me. Exactly how these people all on these government services are acting like, oh, I deserve this. Just give it to me. It's for people that are struggling, but struggling usually a little bit out of their control. Maybe making they're not college educated, so they can get bare minimum jobs. Again, someone who's homeless, you're struggling, but in my opinion, you're struggling because of your own bad choices in life. So I don't know. I do think that we should try to fix the whole homeless situation, where we do have so many empty buildings, empty places. I don't know why money isn't going to fix them up and having like more shelters for people to just stay in the night. But we need more programs where these people can make a living, live in shelters. I think make some kind of living, even if it's minimum wage, below minimum wage, make some kind of money living in shelter, whatever. But I do believe that pushing away homeless is not the best ideology, but giving homes to just homeless people is also not the best way to go about it.
Julian here is now at Ulta, and I'm here to see the display for the first time, you guys. Hi, honey. What's your name? Paulina. Nice to meet you, Paulina. Nice to meet you. What's your name, honey? Nice to meet you. We're gonna see what Julian hair looks like at Ulta for the first time. It's gonna be Ulta fun. Okay, let's see it. Who's that? She's so pretty. I got highlights since then. You guys, do you think it's pretty? It's gorgeous. Do you think she's gonna get along with all of her other new Ulta friends? She does right. She does right. JV and Hair is now at Ulta Beauty nationwide. We love the hair you have.
I think our modern society is messed up. So Sydney Sweeney, a beautiful, natural-born woman, is getting so much hate for her ad, and for whatever reason. Okay, it's a innocent ad, but people are up in arms because of whatever they want to be. Right? Oh, it's jeans. But the lack of care from the left that a man is taking a spot of a woman, calling himself a she. He's literally taking a spot of a woman could have taken. It's like, did we not fought for women to have now a voice, or representation, or an equal amount of spotlight? Do we not? So, but now men can take it up, right? Men can take up women's spots. Men can take it's. I find it really funny that if a man acts like a girl, he's a girl. If an actual woman, just show that she's beautiful, that is outrageous. Outrageous that she claims that her genetics is contributes to her beauty. Her natural genetics. I think we're messed up. I really do. I really do. And I think that women and the left is messing up the world, right? It's messing up the world. So we might as well just have all men take up women's accomplishments, and we might as well just get outraged over actual women having some accomplishments. I think it's ridiculous, absolutely disgusting. But hey, that is the world we're living in right now. The world that's created by the left and created by women. Crazy.